Yeah, so go to week 4 and just download the 2 CSV files and also the PowerPoint. Huh? No, it's not. So I just guess maybe it's, too late. So chocolate has some caffeine, so you would pay attention more, hopefully. You're welcome. You just keep it, take as much as you want. Okay. So please download whatever files are in week 4, and here are some of the leftovers of the last week. Also, please open your Tableau. So I just wait a few more minutes, so everybody hopefully would be in the same page. So we want to import CSV files. You might remember in the previous class, I said CSV file is a text file. So click on text file. And let's do one with the office supply, and also then we get to UK bank customer. So first pick office supplies, click on it, press open. So last class we did some figures, and also we had the storyline, so that we made a story. So let's do one more thing. I get a little already get the same page. As I practiced last time, I calculated a field, so I called it price equal to unit. I drag unit price. I think one of you is not muted, so let's see who is not muted. No, everybody is muted. Okay. So price multiplied by unit price multiplied units. Oh no, drag units here. Press OK. Let me just remove it. P1 office supplies. Okay, so for creating histogram, we need some bins. So if you forgot what is histogram, please check like general definition of histogram. Basically, with histogram, you look at the you count how many observations you have in some specific group. So right click on price, go to create, then click bins. Okay, I wait a little bit over that. So size of the beam, maybe let's just, we don't know 161 is good or not. Let's just randomly pick 1000. As you see now, I have a new measure name, price parenthesis beam. And next to that name is like something like histogram. So let me do it again. So I want to make a histogram. So I need a variable associated to a histogram. So I went over price. And I want to make a histogram of price. So in your project, maybe you want to do histogram for other variables. So that's okay. So right click, create, beans. The arbitrary name is price parenthesis bean. You can change the name. Size of bean 161. Again, I just randomly pick 1000 because I'm not sure 1000 is good, 161 is good. So just press OK. So this column would be price bean and units row. So as you see here, I just have two beans and two bars. Maybe you would say it's not that much informative. So what else you can do if you're not happy with that? Maybe you go over price bean, right click, edit, and maybe you change it to 500. So who knows if 500 is good or not? And you know, again, bean size is something subjective. So we want to transfer as much of information that we can. So one way is just doing try and error. Another way is just making a dynamic parameter. So just play with that parameter. So I was not happy with the 1000 as a bin size. So I went over price parenthesis bin, right click, edit, and change it to 500. Work. If I talk too fast, so just let me know. Maybe I can pause so you can try. You got different results. Let me see. No, not unit price. Price. You use peak and value. Yeah. So, right. Create change it to price. Let's change this thing. Right unit price. Fine. Okay. Now right click. Create. Okay, we have some questions. Okay, so one of your questions, I think, is your other friends had the same question. So price is a calculated field. So let me just delete it. So it's what you see when you open the CSV file. I want to create a calculated variable. So here they call it calculated field. I put an arbitrary name, price, which is just unit price times number of units. Press OK. And now I just calculated the variable over there. Let me delete this one. So now I want to make a histogram of price. So price should be converted to a histogram-friendly variable. To convert price to histogram-friendly variable, right-click, create bins. Again, the automated name is price bin. You can change it if you like. So I was not sure how many bins is good. So I just said maybe 1,000 as the size of my bin. Press OK. So now I have price parenthesis bin. So and next to that one, you see a very small histogram sign. I want to do histogram based on unit price. So unit price and price on call. Again, I look at, it seems 1,000 is not a good bin size. I just have 2 bars. And I'm not sure how many bars is good, but it's just very subjective. So right-click on price bin, edit, and you change the size of bin to another, let's say 300. Okay, let me wait a couple of minutes to see if you guys could grab the concept.
Sir, can you please explain again?
Explain which part?
The same part.
No, I mean, explain how I calculate.
From the start, how you got the price and how you did it the same way.
Okay, let's make another variable. I want to create price again, so I name it price 2, but basically it's just same as price. So right-click, create calculated field. Here, I just name it price 2, but it's exactly same as price. So I drag unit price times units and press OK. So now I have 2 exactly same variable, but with just different names. Yes?
If you write that on a map, nothing comes up.
Right click on what?
On a map. There's no. Oh, okay. Thank you.
No, honestly, if you have questions, just ask me as much as you can. So if you learn few things, but you learn completely, it's much better than learning too many things, but have a small understanding. So one question you might have, if you're a Mac user, so right-click with Mac users with 2 fingers. So if you press 2 fingers on the pad, it will be a right-click. So price 2 is exactly same as price. So I want to make a histogram of price. I want to see frequency of price in different bins. So I need to convert it to a histogram variable. So for that, a histogram friendly variable. So I need to identify the bin sizes for price 2. So right-click, create bins. So price to bin, let's this time again make it 300. So size, yeah, it's arbitrary name, very subjective. So, and we are not sure which bin size is the best. So we just leave it at 300 for now. So I have price 2 bins. So it's a measure name, but if you look at next to price 2 units, so you see a small histogram. I drop it over columns. and units for rows. So you might ask, or you might wonder, we are not sure which bin size is the best one, and it might take forever to just figure out which bin size is better. So again, if you look at let me just go back here. So if you look at the price bin, so instead of 300 here, I can assign a variable, and later I just play with that variable. So if I play with that variable, I can change that value to 300, 100, 200, 500. So for doing that, in the left side, right click and select create parameter. But you know, the goal of creating parameter, later we assign as a bin size. So I just play with that parameter, one time make it 100, 300. So we want to make our life easier. Having said that, so click on create parameter. So let's make it price bin. I change it to integer because bin sizes, it doesn't make sense to be a non-integer variable. And instead of just one number, I make it to a range. So let's define our range. I change minimum to 100, maximum to 1000, and step size 100. I waited a couple of minutes so all of you to be in the same space. So again, we have seen that we are not sure which bin size is good. So and every time you had to right click on the bin parenthesis, price parenthesis bin, and just change size of the bin. So we want to assign a parameter or variable. So later we play with that variable. So we can change the size of bin 100, 300, 500, 1000. So it's the goal of creating parameter. So, or I can change it, current value to 500. That's totally arbitrary. So, but as you see, the more important part is an integer with a minimum of 100, maximum 1000, and a step size of 100. So 100, 200, 300, up to 1000. And again, all of them are arbitrary. So I don't have any objective reason why I chose 100, 1000. I just want to search to find the best combination. Any questions so far? Okay, so if no question, just press OK. Do you see I now have a green button here? This is my newly created parameter. The next step, assigning this parameter to my bin size. So you go over price parenthesis bin, right click, edit. So instead of 300 now, I assign price bin. Is the parameter I just created. Again, so sometimes I pause because I want to see if everybody can follow. Then press OK. So now we want to change the parameter. So there's an easier way of doing that. So click on price bin parameter. Or just no, click on. Okay, my Tableau just freeze for a bit. So right click on price bin, the parameter that we created, and select show parameter. Do you see now there's a little change on the right side? Now change the bin size. Now the initial value is 500. I change it to 300, 200, 1000. Since we don't have any mathematical way of saying, maybe there is some general rule of thumb for the bin size, but we are not sure which one is great. We just play with this button to see which one makes more sense and more informative for us. So what you have learned so far, first of all, how to create a histogram, and how to create a parameter, how to assign the parameter to the bin size, and then just playing with that parameter to end up having a better histogram. I'm gonna give you 2 minutes so you guys can play with that, and in case you have questions, let me know. So there's a funny thing. Some of you just look at in the class, look at the laptop. It might be two reasons. Either you are reading something else or you're using Zoom to follow better. So I'm not sure which one. But just don't keep your question, ask your questions, and it might be your other friend's question, but they're shy to ask. So if you ask those questions, it makes their life easier. Yes?
How to make the geometry practice?
Okay, sure. So let me go back to the earlier one. Deactivate this one. Not this one. It was what we had at the beginning. So, and you know how to create parameter, right?
No.
No? Okay. So let me delete this one.
I know how to create it, but how to make it effective to inject.
Sure. So you know how to create price dashboard, but you know how to make it effective, how to assign it to histogram, right? Yeah. Okay. So you already created a price bin, is a histogram friendly variable, right? Or measure name. Right click on it.
Yeah.
Go to edit. Yeah. So instead of 300, click on this rectangle and assign price bin to it. Then press OK. So, but you don't see the parameter to play with. So we right click on the parameter and click show parameter. Now I can play with that. Yeah.
How do I edit the units?
How to?
Edit the information units. The units.
So
The unit price. For the y-axis.
Actually, I'm going to teach you another one, so you can just change your figure. So instead of like here, I think it changed 20 y, you can change that too. So So one way is just start from end to from. So if you want to learn ahead of time, just right click, edit access, and just change this part, fix it, and just change when do you want to start, when do you want to finish, those kind of things. Okay, let's go to the second file. So let me close it or just make a new one. So Control N, you make a fresh Tableau. So my PC is a little slow today. You just open a fresh Tableau. So we want to enter new data. So on the lower left, there is a data source. Click on it. Again, click on text file and select P1 UK bank customers. Okay. Okay, look at the data first. So this is some banking information. So customer ID, names, surname, gender, age, region. So England, Northern Ireland, Wales. So it's something about some UK province or UK divisions. We have job classification, date join, and how much of the balance. So looking at this table, and assume you are working in the marketing department, maybe you want to see the distribution of gender. So if it's like your accounts are mostly male or female oriented, so you can make a different campaigns, or you can look at the ages, which ages we have most of your customers, what are your the balances in different regions of United Kingdom. So if there is a very low activities in, let's say, Wales, maybe you can try to see what can you do. Is there any way you can promote it? Job classification, you can see performance of your bank in different groups and end up suggesting some approaches. Like, I'm not a marketing guy, so I'm not sure how, but maybe you can look at how to have more effective marketing campaign based on this data that you have. So again, we are not sure what can we find, but I mean, it depends on how you want to look at the data and what would be the possible benefits of doing analytics. So again, so the goal could be look at the different regions, different job classification, different gender, and see how's the performance of your bank. So let's also do some visual analytics. So, I mean, select sheet one. One of the variables is region. So, and it's about different UK divisions. So maybe we can plot it and see if we can make a map out of it. What can you do? So look at the region. Next to region is ABC. It just means Tableau think is a textual document. It's not the geographical coordinates. So just right click and tell 9 is a geographical role, geographic role. And maybe we can select a state or province because it was Northern Ireland, UK, Wales, Scotland. So I just wait for a couple of minutes so everybody could catch up with me. Yes. Just give us a new one. I'm not sure what happened. Yeah, I mean, might be a random error back. I'm gonna put this maybe random boy. Okay, the goal is to make a map out of the region names, and but 9 is very small, but not too small. So although there's a regions, it just guess it could be just text. So we want to tell 9 is a geographical unit. So I right click over region, I went to geographic role and select state province. So if you are if you haven't been out of United States, or some countries is based on states units, some geographical units, some countries are based on province. Because UK is a province-based country. So look what happened. Now I have 2 new variables, latitude and longitude. Right? So I drag longitude on column and latitude on rows. So let's drag region on the map. So I put the columns longitude, rows latitude, and I drag and drop region on the map. Look at the lower right side. It said 4 unknowns. So this time it's still Tableau couldn't figure out what do I mean. So it just said unknowns. Again, let me just wait some seconds so everybody could catch up. Okay, so still we should provide more guidance to Tableau. More specifically, there is some, regions or some interesting city names in the US. I've seen Lebanon, Zion, Persia, India. So still, you might be some common names around the world. So, just select on 4 unknowns, just click on it. So when you click on 4 unknown, you see edit locations. Click on it. So the country region is United States. We should change it to United Kingdom. So click on United States. Now change it to United Kingdom. This is United Kingdom. So we tell Tableau these are state province, not a US state province, it's a UK state province. So there's a 4 unknown here. Click on it. Lower right side. So the 4 unknowns are here. Look at my mouse where I'm just moving my mouse. So this is like 4 unknowns. Click on it. Go to edit location. And change country region to United Kingdom. Just click on it. From here, change it to United Kingdom. So after that, now see England, Northern Ireland, Scotland, West. I think now Tableau could recognize what I'm talking about. Press OK. So now Tableau focus on the United Kingdom. So let's look at the balances. I want to look at basically balances and maybe the average balances, but let's just drag balance. And okay, before that, so I have a map. Now I want to put some data on the map. So since those whatever I want to show on the map is in the middle, so now I use marks. So whatever I do next, all of them are over marks. For example, I select balance, drag and drop over label. So I have some of the balances in different provinces of United Kingdom or different regions. If you're not happy with the sum, maybe you right click and change measure to average. Average just means means. So also to just look to just show a much cooler map. So under marks, change automatic to map. So you click on next to automatic, change it to map. So now you see some field map. What else we can do? Maybe let's do something for tooltip. Maybe select age, drag and drop on tooltip. And this is sum of age. Again, doesn't make sense that much. So right click, change measure to average. Oh. Over this figure, let's look at the, it seems that in the Wales, they have the highest balance average. Then maybe in United Kingdom and Northern Ireland and Scotland, these two are almost same, but we have a higher balance in Wales. It seems the bank has a better performance over Wales. So let's just change it to average balance. Let's look at maybe job classification as column. And let's, what else? Maybe again, balance. So here, sum of balance could make sense, or maybe average of balance, you can just look at it different ways, but white color has highest balance, then blue, and we have category of other. If you are not happy with this kind of bar chart, maybe you can select show me, and over show me, just you can select the available figures. So based on the data that you provided, we have some available figures. Let me just select bubble chart. Or any other figures makes more sense for you. We have like tree chart, pie chart. So I want to show the like some of the balances on my figure. What should I do? Can anyone tell me? Can you guess? So if you based on the size, you can see which group you have more balance. So what if I want to show the number on the figure? Yes. So your friend just said drag balance and drop on the text label, because showing the balance on the figure, it just means you are playing with the middle, not rows and column. So I drag balance and drop it on label. Let's make another one. Maybe we look at gender versus average balance, or sum of the balance. So gender row. Let's still do sum of the balance. Now let's play with the pie chart. So I want to change it to pie chart. So I'm not very happy with the automatic figure that just Tableau created for me. I select show me, then select pie chart. It looks small. So again, as I said, you take your mouse and near to the pie chart. Look, my mouse is changing. I drag, oh, I think my mouse doesn't work. I need a good mouse pad. So you see I'm changing the border to somehow here. And I didn't need to change this. Oh. Also dragging this line down. Now I have a larger pie chart. So how do I put the balance on the pie chart? Yeah, you're right. So I drag balance. Oh, what happened? I drag balance and put it on the label. Maybe I can show the gender here too. So I drag gender and drop it on. Oh. So my mouse, I need a good mouse pad for some reasons. Oh, sorry. What happened? Oh, it seems that, yeah, for some random reason. So let me just do it quickly. So I'm sorry, I'm not sure what happened. So data source, text file. I just do everything fast. So first sheet, change region to right click, geographical role, state province, latitude row, longitude column. Drag and drop region on the map. For unknown, edit location to United Kingdom. Maybe change it to map. Balance on label. And I change it to sum to average. Another one, I wanted to look at job classification. Okay, let me put this paper. So versus average balance. So right click. What happened? Measure to average. Or maybe let's look at, I think sum looks better. So sum. Then I change it to bubbles. And I wanted to show the balance. So balance over label. The third one, gender versus balance. And I want to change to pie chart. And I want to make pie chart larger. Balance label. Gender label. So the second one, let's say, change it to job class. The third one, gender. Let's see if we can make another one. Let me see what makes more sense. Huh. So we have region, we have age. Okay, we don't have anything for age. So let's make it like age versus balance and I think region makes more sense. So okay, so and I change age instead of sum to average. I think makes more sense. So average customer age in different regions, and I just pick the one that Tableau automatically selected for me. I just change the average sum of age to average. And also the fourth one is about age. First one about region. I just pick 4, but again, based on your project, maybe you add more figures. Maybe if you have some time series, you pick some time series figures, but they are not activated here because I don't have any time-based data. Also, maybe bubble chart, pie chart, whisker, box plots. It just depends on your specific project. Okay. Any questions so far? Yes.
In the job classification sheet, can you split it in terms of regions?
Job classification?
Yeah. Can I split it in terms of regions? Like if I want to see what's the ratio in Indian versus non.
Yeah, I mean, later I show you. Your question is a bit ahead of time. No, that's a good question actually, but yeah.
Also the sheet of the job mark. Because the job marks are finding out the columns, the rows, find any table.
There is no row and column. All of them are.
After the column and rows, there are not any conflicts right here.
So there is no row and column because I'm using a bubble chart. Bubble chart is just in the middle. Doesn't make sense to have a row and columns.
So no meaning about the rows and columns.
Yes. It depends which type of Guys, sorry. Again, internet got disconnected, so I'm using my cell phone internet over hotspot. And I should talk seriously with the school. It's very bad. Every time at 8 p.m. we have some disconnection. Okay, going back to your friend's question. So what if we want to look at what we did in some different regions, some different groups, and this means you need to play a lot. So if you select a new dashboard, you see a blank page, just drag all the figures that you have. When you drag and drop them, you see you can just put in different location. That's fine. Just put in the location that is makes more sense or easier to read for you. I'm just drag and dropping like in this way, but it's not the only way that should be good. So any combination of these figures, you can make in 4 columns, 4 rows, or just randomly put it there. So when I click on UK, I cannot see what is this different distribution of job classes, gender, region, and the balances. So it means these figures are not interconnected. So we need to connect those figures together. So when I click on Scotland, it just show different job classification, balances on Scotland. So let me just. So just click on this map. On the right side, you see a like kind of black rectangle. Select the triangle. Go over filter. Not this one. I think this version is changed a little bit. So let me see. Okay, no, this version is here. So yes. So click on the black rectangle. Click on that white triangle, and then just select as use as filter, and do same for all those 4 figures. So this is the first one. The second one, this bar chart, I select in the middle. On the right black triangle, I select the white triangle, again, use as filter. Bubble chart, again, I click on the middle, select the black rectangle, select the white triangle, and use as filter. Same for gender, click in the middle, black rectangle, white triangle, use as filter. Okay, now I can answer your friend's question. So what if the gender total balances, let's say in Scotland? So I select Scotland, look what happens. Maybe this figure doesn't make sense because it's just overall region, but could be, I mean, average. So when I select Scotland, as you see, most of my customers are blue color. White color is very small, and I have a big other groups. Also, most of the balances are from male customers and low in the female. And the average age is near, I mean, almost 50. So maybe if you're in the marketing campaign, you can make a marketing campaign to attach more or to bring more white collar customers. So, or bring more female, because there is not that much of female customers. The female balances in Scotland is very low. Let me select UK. So England. So in England, mostly they are white collar. I have less customer in the blue collar. Age is near 30, so it means I have more younger customers, and most of the balances that come from female. All almost equal. So maybe here you can focus on blue collar customer, try to bring them more. It seems they are not attracting, you don't attract that much of other groups. So when you click on the white part of the figures, it just gets deselected. Let's just select female. So I go to the, you don't have to just play with the basically map. Now I click on the female. So most of your females are from white collar. You see their average balances in different parts of the United Kingdom. It seems there are not that much of differences. It's 39 to 40. Let's click on male. It's almost equal number of blue collar and white collar. And as you see for male, we have a higher variance. So in the Wales, it's almost 45. In UK, 38,500. So higher differences. So at the end, the purpose of dashboard here is just making figures connected. So you might have question of what if in different groups of your data. So you can easily play with that and make a dynamic figure. Okay, I wait a couple of minutes so you guys can play. But as you see, it's super easy. You just make some figures, drag and drop here. Then you just change the type to as a filter. So now they are interconnected and they are dynamic figures that you can play with. I can just spend 1 or 2 minutes play the figure, just change the groups, click on different groups, see what kind of information you get. So at the end, you need to present your results. So one way, as I said in the previous class, you just take a screenshot, copy and paste on PowerPoint, but we can use a story. And for making a storyline, you look at my mouse. In the lower left side, there's a new story. You click. Again, let's say you can just drag and drop regions. So it's just for all the regions. Maybe I can change the title, regional balance. And your presentation, you talk about regional balance. So look at, like, if it's your final project, maybe you can talk about different balances in different parts of the country. What can you do? Maybe average balance is very good. It's highest one. So you have a low performance regions. Maybe you can add, drag and drop some text and say, good performance in Wales. And I play with the font, maybe change the color, size. Okay. Maybe next one could be job classification. the next one about gender performance. Age. And the coolest one is the dashboard, drag and drop dashboard. Maybe first of your presentation, you can talk about the overall statistics, what you can get in the general. Then in the dashboard, maybe you can focus on different groups based on the color, job classification, based on regions. Or based on gender. So then you can talk about the different groups and what kind of statistics you can get. So for such a presentation, I think Tableau is much better because you can play easily with the figures and just maybe you can make a voice over your video and it just helps you to have an easier and better presentation. So if you use PowerPoint, there are pictures and you don't see any like animation or just dynamic figures that you have here. Okay, let me pause for 1 or 2 minutes in case you guys have questions or people over Zoom. So as you see, Tableau is not that much difficult. Basically, just drag and drop and just play with different figures. And you make a story, you make dashboard, make dynamic figures. If you want to do such a thing in Python, it takes like 2 weeks. But over Tableau, if you just practice a little bit, you can make these like all of this in like few minutes. So again, it's the reason many of your friends in the job market, they get many internships just knowing Tableau and those kind of things because it's very practical. Very easy at the same time, but very practical. It seems there is no question, so let me go over the leftovers. So I'm not sure if I have time to go over all of the slides today. So in case I couldn't, so please study some of them. So today about cognitive loads. Okay, look at this figure. For sure, there's a lot of information there. And it took a long time to create such a figure. Anyone could see any problem in this figure? Yeah, it's very hard to understand what is going on if you have a magnifier, but even if you use a magnifier, it takes forever. I mean, this is a very hard and useless figure. So we don't want to have too complicated figures. And we don't want to make people to give up. We just want to transfer information. So this is very bad. There's a famous quote from Edward Tufte. So the larger the share of a graphic ink devoted to data, the better. Basically, we want just have a better way of basically for transferring information. Same here. They spend a large amount of time. Maybe this is a good figure for putting in the like museum or just some show, and I'm pretty sure it took forever to make such a complicated figure, but these are just maybe at most could be a piece of art, or recently people talk about NFTs, but who can use this? Right? Okay, so there is some optional reading about the principle of Gestalt principles of visual perceptions. I recommend to study. So these are some optional readings, and I think they are very useful for your final project in terms of having a good figure. So there are proximity, similarity, enclosure, closure, continuity, and connections. So I skimmed through some slide to show you general understanding of this principle, but for your project, please study Gestalt theory of visual perception. This is an optional reading, and you get a better understanding of what they are talking about and how you can implement that in your project. I think we're almost run out of time. So proximity. So some black circles are more closer to each other. So when you look at here, you see two groups. It seems there are two different groups of black circles. You have such a perception because of proximity. Some of them are closer to each other. There's an intuition of having two different groups. Or nobody is talking about people information, but some people are single, some people are with friends, or you see a couple. So because of their more closer to each other, you end up saying it might be some association between them. Similarity. So based on different colors, you might think of so some of them belong to one group, some of them another group. So because of just similarities, same for this figure, some animals may be more similar to each other. So you assume they're in the one group. Again, I'm not defining this principle. I'm just skimming through because we don't have that much of time. So because of enclosures here, maybe you can identify there are different groups of that data or cluster of data because of some geometric shape just enclose some of the circles. Here again, it brings some intuition of you have different clusters because of enclosure of circles, closures. So although these two shapes are not closed, but you have some intuition of closure, although they are not closed. Same, these symbols, they are not closed shapes, but you have that intuition of panda or MBC, or the other one just looks like maybe C mine or something like that. Continuity. This figure is not. So there's discontinuity. It's a discrete line, but you have some intuition of. It seems it's a one line. It's more specifically for date type variables. So 9, 10, 11, 12, but you have feeling of continuity here, connection. So connecting some shapes to each other, it just gives them some association. White space. So look at, who knows where is it? Have you been here? In this? Yeah, the most famous Apple store in New York. Again, since we don't have time, I put a very nice video about the history of this store. So please watch this. So again, these principles and these videos, all of them are optional readings, but this is a very cool video. So I don't play it, but just want to show you. So it just shows the history of how they designed the first Apple store and then just they upgraded. And it's Steve Jobs. This guy is McLaw is the owner of that building, and he just proposed to Apple to make that store, and they end up being the most profitable Apple store. They talk about the simplicity and the artistic part of the design. So I just recommend to give it like maybe 15 minutes to just study that. Google is very simplistic, so sometimes simpler, better. You just might have a feeling of faster and just very customer oriented, because it's not that much crowded. Okay, the last but not least, 8% of men, including my father, actually, he's not colorblind, but he used to be, and 0.5% of women are colorblind. So maybe it's better to avoid shades of red and green, because those people cannot differentiate and they don't appreciate your work. So, and like 8% is a huge percentage. So just keep in mind, it might cause some problem. Also, I put some another optional reading. So please read them, and you get some good intuition of how to avoid such issues for colorblind people. Okay, that's for today. We almost end of time. Again, please spend some time to read this optional PowerPoint. So the today lecture was almost very optional. So I put some links, some videos. So because I think they are very good for your final project, it gives you some understanding how to be some kind of artistic and very information oriented in your project. Okay, that's for today. Thank you very much. Again, sorry for the internet disconnection. It was out of my control, but I keep communicating with the school to fix the issue, because almost every time around 8, we have some disconnection. Thank you very much and have a great evening. Thank you.